Hi, long time no see. It's let's see, it's Friday the 29th of May, and I probably haven't made a video in a year or more. I've had quite a difficult year and a half, I'd say. Further back time-wise, it was because of I started the Mirena coil, and I think I didn't realize it, but it caused depression-like symptoms, and I just lost my spark and hope and stuff like that. And then this summer I got a notice that I had to move. So I moved in November, and it wasn't the best place. First and foremost, the last move I had before that was a big move, the move that made me really ill. Oh, just to introduce you, hi, this is my Squishmallow Joy, which I named from the character in the Pixar movie Inside Out, and I think she's an axolotl, and she supports my shoulder when I sleep. Anyhow, so yeah, I had a lot of stress and a lot of anxiety before that move. This time I worried how I would feel, and I got a lot of support and a lot of help when it came to packing and unpacking, which I think was the big issue last time, that I took my time with packing but then unpacked it all too quickly. But I then very quickly, so I moved into a place where I have some support where I live, but then I found out that they would stop having that support there, and that it meant that it wasn't a good place for me to live anymore, and that I had to move again. So I had to move again April 1st, which meant that I maybe unpacked a third somewhere of all of my stuff, basically all of the stuff that I needed, which meant that I lived in a lot of boxes everywhere, and it was winter, which is my worst time during the year. But yeah, this place is much better, much calmer, much bigger, much more light. I'm happier, my cat is happier. So yeah, so that is basically why I haven't had the energy or wanted to make a video or talk or even edit the older videos I've done. that is what I wanted to do earlier tonight. I wanted to edit, and I realized I couldn't find my cable for my camera, so I probably have to buy some sort of thing tomorrow, because I've since this move, basically I've had a lot of creativity back, and yeah, it feels a lot better. Not that I should say I still have the coil, and I actually got in my journal, in my patient journal, is it called that? Now actually says possible endometriosis. After I met a new gynecologist in early March, because I had just the worst pain, and I thought that the coil had moved out of place, but he thought that it just didn't work as well anymore. So I tried to add another medicine to that, which gave me a lot of depression-like symptoms. So we tried another one, and that one is okay. It's not perfect, but it's okay. I haven't had any periods or stuff like that, so I think it's alright for now, and I haven't had any like actual depression symptoms, just like I'm so used to taking medicines that I'm used to having to weigh like what the benefits they are giving me countered with side effects. God, I'm so out of breath. I've had this awful cold for 4 weeks. Well, I've had this awful cough for 4 weeks. Maybe an active cold or virus or something for 2 weeks. I was in Gothenburg a couple of weeks ago, where I worked at a short camp for this youth handicap organization, basically. And it was weird. I haven't been in Gothenburg in 13-14 years, since I lived there, and then had to visit the acute psychological basically the psychological variant for A&E. Can't remember what it's called in English right now. I've had a long day. I've had a lot of migraine this week, and I had an appointment with my house doctor, and we talked about the medicine I've been taking for my migraines to counteract them, and this has been the second one, and it hasn't worked really, or we have been at a very low dose, and I have had so much dizziness that we haven't been able to raise it. So I decided to stop both times, and so she mentioned that the next step would be to send referral for a neurological appointment, and in reality the next medicine would be metrazapine, which is an older antidepressant, tricyclic antidepressant, I think. And basically every antidepressant I've tried, except the one I'm on, I've had quite awful side effects. So I was like, no. And this one is famous for causing tiredness and fatigue. So I was like, no, I already have that. I don't need more tiredness and fatigue in my life. And this doctor I'm seeing, I've seen her 3 times now, and she's really, really good. And it's so weird. She's maybe my age, I'd say. And I think I've seen like 8 doctors in 6 years. She's like the second good one, and this the last one I also seen at this place. She was also at my age, and she also wasn't a specialist, which meant she was younger, and meant she could take more time with the patient. And it made, like, I think that matters, like, the education the doctors are getting now are better, and maybe they can see themselves in me more. And like, obviously it means a lot to be seen as a human being instead of as a patient, first and foremost. So yeah, but she also, well, I did a bit of research, and the next medicine a neurologist would try would be Botox. My mom got it for migraines. So I believe in it, and I believe it could work for me, but she said that they have been turning patients down a lot. But yeah, I have faith in that she would do everything possible for me to get care. And then I went to work, and then I was supposed to have book club for one of my favorite authors, and then it was quite hot today, and I started to get a migraine, so I was like, sorry, I can't. And tomorrow one of my friends I met while studying creative writing has a moving party, so I will try to go, unless I feel ill, unless I have a migraine, unless I sleep terrible, and everything like that. So yeah, I wanted to do a little update, I guess. Tomorrow I can film a bit more. I'm filming on my cell phone right now, because I couldn't find the connector thing for my real camera. And I can show you tomorrow my creative thing since moving. I've been doing different things really, but the principal thing has been creating necklaces from like glass beads and stuff like that, which has been fun and sort of mindless and something new that I always like. So I can show a few of the ones I made before. I also given a few away to friends. Yeah. Tomorrow I can tell you guys about my adventure in France during Mars. It's probably like 11:30 p.m. right now, so I'm quite tired despite having a later morning. Yeah, see you tomorrow.
Hi. Hey, hur är det fint? Ja. Ja, är du söt? Är det fint? Ja.
Hi, it's now the day after, Saturday the 30th of May, and you can see a bit about the stuff I still haven't unpacked in the flat. I have a lot of bags over there and like big moving boxes over here, but not as many. I've unpacked the most of them, which feels good, not as stressful. And ironically, I was talking to my social worker yesterday after work about moving to a more permanent place, and she was like, yeah, we can put you in the on the waiting list for it. And I don't know how long it might take, but like during the summer, after the summer. And I was like thinking while she was talking, and then like realizing I can't move again so soon. It's not possible. It would make me feel really, really bad, unwell. And all the stress with my cat and moving was just not good for either of us. So I said that I want to wait to be put on the waiting list until after the summer instead. And she was like, yeah, no issues. Yeah, that was my cat moving from her place in the window over there, over the boxes, to my bed and down to the floor. So yeah, it will be a little while longer, but this place is good. It's election year this year in Sweden, and I has applied as a someone who will collect the votes again this year, both during the pre-elections, the time where you can vote before the election, as the election day, which is like 2.5 weeks, and I love doing that. I've done it now 2 times, I think. And it's one of my favorite jobs. Like, it's intense and I couldn't possibly do it for any longer than this, but I love it. And I will also be working on the election day. And like last year I hadn't applied for that. I was thinking that I will take it easy, and then they called and said, do you want to do it? You will be first vice, whatever it's called. I will write the word here. And I was like, yeah, it would be fun, something new, and stuff like that. So yeah, I did it last year, and this year the person who was in charge, the word I can't remember, she won't be able to do it in this district that I'm working in. So she called and asked if I would want to be that person. And yeah, it's a lot of responsibility, and it could be quite stressful, but it's quite a calm area, and it's not the center of the city, and it's basically an area where it's a lot of families living. So I think it would be okay, and I said yes. So that won't be a lot of fun. And on the topic of jobs, I still work as a carer or personal assistant, and I go on these camps and stuff like that. And the person who is in charge for creating the camps and doing all of the organizing and stuff, she left for another job, and so they haven't had the time to find another one for the summer camp. And the person I work for as a personal assistant care, she is on sick leave or whatever it's called, and is quite stressed about the camp this year. So I asked, what about if I would be in charge for just this summer camp? Because we talked about me applying for the job full time, and it's a lot of numbers and computer work, and I think it wouldn't be good for me, and I wouldn't be able to do the work as good as other people would do in the long term. But this part, I think I would be able to do quite well. And she thought I would be able to do it quite well, and another person I work for in the organization thought it as well as her daughter. So I have sent in my CV and will have the interview on Monday. If I get a job, I would do it for like 2.5 months maybe, have a couple of weeks, and then there's the election, and then my plan is to have my vacation weeks after that, so in September. And my idea would be to go and visit Louisiana in Denmark, the museum. I have wanted to go there forever, and I know I wouldn't have to be away for very long, like a couple of nights, maybe go there, or maybe 3 nights, and then be one day in Copenhagen and visit the art museum there, and then go back. And it's easy, you can go by train and stuff. So that is basically my plan, and I hope I will get this job because it would be something new and something exciting, and I really like trying new things. And on the topic of work and traveling, I said yesterday that I would tell about the chaos trip to France in Mars. So me and the person I work for as a carer, meantime, we went to Strasbourg, where they were in charge of a youth thing, organizing how they could stop hate speech in places like schools and like society. So I came with them first for like a weekend, preparation weekend in January, which was so much fun and weird because I hadn't flown since before the pandemic. So it had been 6 years, 5.5. And then we went back for the whole thing with all the participants in Mars, and it was supposed to be a week, and we stayed in this youth, I can't remember what it's called, but a youth part of the European Council that they have, and it was a lot of fun and so cool to be able to go and see that. And we went to the European Council, and yeah. And then the person I work for got ill, and more ill, and then had to go to the hospital. And we were at the hospital for five days in another country where I only sort of know the language, and especially not very well when it comes to medical language. And we had to contact their sorry, I'm looking at my cat who's like walking around the flat. As I said yesterday, she likes having all this space. Anyhow, we had to contact their code words today. Medical. Anyhow, I will write it. And they brought a lot of help, like a doctor who was Danish and could speak with the French doctors. It was like a channel of between us and the French doctors, and could tell all the needs that they have when it comes to medical stuff, which needs to be a certain way in order to be safe. They were so good, and the French medical system was so weird. And yeah, five days, and then finally they could be discharged. And I stayed another 2 days in Strasbourg before realizing, before the medical said they have to stay for a bit longer, and it was unsure how, and the time had been going further and further, and I was like, okay, until I was like, no, I can't, because because of my cat. I have been away 2 weeks then, and I also had to move not like 2 weeks after I came home, which wasn't great, but it all went pretty well. So I went home alone, and their dad came instead. I also, sorry, my brain. I also asked for assistance for the first time at the airport, and they thought I wouldn't be able to get it because I bought the ticket so last minute, but I actually did, and it was so amazing, and it was so needed after everything and being able to do the move so shortly after. So I'm proud of myself for asking for that and accepting it, and realized that I needed it. So I had a lot of time sitting at the airport, and so I was reading the Twin Peaks book and on the airplane and writing a bit, and yeah, so that is Strasbourg. I will do a separate video on the books that I'm reading lately, maybe going to finish as well. It has been extra good. It's sort of